While traveling through South Korea, my girlfriend and I decided we wanted to experience something a little different other than just the usual tourist attractions that you typically do while traveling. Although those are fun, we heard that there are sites like Workaway that offer cultural exchanges. This is where a host will offer a short-term job, typically for travelers, where in exchange for working, they offer housing. Now, this might not seem like a good deal at first, since typically you'd want to be paid for work. But the point of these exchanges isn't to make money. It's to experience what it's like to live with locals, to meet new people, and to learn the culture in which the place that it is that you're traveling to through a different lens that's not the typical tourist one. This is how we ended up at a chestnut farm in Cheongyang, South Korea. That's the farm. Cheongyang is a small town located just about 2 hours south of Seoul. The host Lee picked us up from the local bus stop and drove us about 30 minutes from the city center to his house. After getting settled in, we were off to our first day of work the following day. The farm is just a 5-minute drive from their home, and you drive up this really steep road, and as you get up, you see this crazy view, realizing that you're basically driving on a mountain. I'd be lying if I said that this drive didn't make me at least a little nervous. Basically, the mornings always started off by feeding the animals that they had on the farm. They had a ton of goats and some chickens. It was pretty fun walking around in there with them and feeding them. There was even 2 newborn baby goats that were born just a couple of days before we arrived. Now, when it came to the actual work that we need to do, February is pruning season. So we use these saws on long poles to cut off excess branches to keep the trees healthy for the harvest. The farm itself is massive. There must be hundreds, if not thousands, of trees on this farm, so pruning takes some time. This kind of work was simple, but it doesn't mean that it was easy. On the first day, our shoulders and our neck were extremely sore, but after a few days, our bodies had gotten used to it. Once we got into a rhythm, the work was honestly so peaceful. Just put some music or a podcast in and take in the nature. I mean, just look at this view. Lee was so kind, always making sure that we were taking breaks when we needed them, and Helmani was always making sure that we were well fed. The evenings were spent mostly just hanging around the house and playing around with Lee's 2 young kids. We were staying at Lee's parents' house where they had a couple of guest rooms, and it's directly next door to Lee's house. They made us 3 meals per day, and I can honestly say it was some of the tastiest meals I've ever had. On the weekend, Lee took us on a few day trips with his little kids to check around the sites around Cheongyang. He even took us to this historic fortress where we got to listen in on some traditional chanting. And with the blink of an eye, 10 days had passed. All in all, Lee and his family were all so incredibly kind and generous, and I would totally recommend others to do a workaway at their farm. If you're looking to travel and experience something different than the usual tourist attractions, then I highly recommend using Workaway to try to find hosts wherever it is that you're traveling. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.
Okay, done.